There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. You know, it wouldn't be a Chronic Chris show if we didn't have technical difficulties. But yeah, first time I listened to this song, I sat down, I listened to it, and you know, listened to the words. Damn, she knocked somebody out.
I had some help with it, but I think we executed it perfectly. Yeah. So, what was your first? Besides, I knocked someone out. What was your first taste of it? Your flavor? What do you think? Provide feedback. We love feedback, so we're open to it.
My first thought, I can't play it on Asgard. And then I listened to it again, and I listened to something else I play on it. I play a lot of Framing the Red. I love Framing the Red. They're straight Southern rock. I played one of their songs, and then I played yours again. I said, you know what? I can pass that as Southern rock, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a good Southern rock feel to that.
I like the Southern rock feel to it too.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me, actually. I was like, it turned out a lot different than it started out at. I was like, wow, I really liked it.
Thank you.
Yes, it is a great song.
Good. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So with go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
With everyone in the chat, do they normally ask questions or do we interact with them?
Sometimes.
Sometimes
they do.
Sometimes if they have a question I'm not hitting or something they want to know that.
Okay.
So, you know, if anybody out there, you guys know if you got questions for Sarah.
Usually he has lots of questions, or JD does.
I'm an open book. What do you guys got?
Yeah, if you got questions for Sarah or Rebecca, me personally, I plead the fifth. I don't answer questions, I ask them.
Love it.
So, besides...
It depends on the question. I may or may not answer them. I might choose.
Playing music.
Now that I'm thinking about that, I'm kind of like...
Right.
So besides playing music and watching the Packers on Sunday, what hobbies do you have?
So right now we're really launching our business. So besides doing my own music and all of that, we're actually, me and Michelle are opening our own business as well. So we are Revolution Remastered. We're a songwriting firm as well as a full production firm as well, and we also just brought in Tony Black for our promotional side. So we actually have the full end-to-end process of a song. So we actually started from the beginning, which is the songwriting, work with coaches in the areas where the artist is to make sure that they're able to go ahead and sing the song and make sure it's in the correct range, right? Because Zoom and Skype and things like that, it may sound a certain way, but if a student is struggling or an artist is struggling, it can be really difficult. So we're really launching our whole business and getting that off the ground more and more each day. So we're increasing our roster even more. We're getting ready to be in the studio almost full time. So lots of music. But besides that, if I don't have anything to do with music during the day, I love walking my dog and being outside and at the beach and in the water and swimsuits and maybe or not a can of Bud Light as well is there. So, you know, that's kind of Sarah in a nutshell. I love traveling too. So going and being with my family and my friends are huge, but also exploring different areas.
Heath, I done told you I don't answer questions. He asked me how many Doritos are in a bag of Doritos. I don't answer questions. But if I'd have to guess...
How many Doritos are in a bag of Doritos?
I'd say 15.
My husband might know.
15 in a little small bag and 50 in a big bag.
I'll count next time I eat a bag.
I don't know. I haven't had Doritos in years. Don't you know that shit's flammable?
No.
If you
Yeah, they're
take,
great fire starters. I love them for camping. They do. They're great kindling. Good survival too. Chips are.
I learned something today. I did not know you can light a Dorito on. Is it any Dorito or is it just the nacho cheese ones?
I think it's the nacho cheese ones, and I know it works really,
Okay.
really well if you crush it up with orange Tic Tacs.
I haven't tried
Orange
the Tic
TikTok.
Tac.
He said as many as you can eat. Yeah, but
Uh,
sometimes, you get to the bottom of the bag and you wish there was just a couple more.
that is true. I am really, that's probably my greatest sin is chips too. So now that I know one's flammable, I got to be real careful if ever I'm around a fire.
See,
Right.
I used to love chips too, and then all of a sudden one day I was working at a gas station, so lunch consists of a bag of chips and a bear claw, like every single day.
Ah,
I'm sitting there eating it, and I'm like, why am I eating this shit? It's not good for me. It can't be good for me in the long run.
yeah. I mean, I really like chips, and now I'm concerned that I eat so many that are flammable.
Now, if you're talking the pretzels from Schneider's of Hanover, that
Never
is-
had it.
Try Schneider's of Hanover, the honey mustard and onion.
Okay.
It is delicious in a bag.
All right.
I'll have to try those too. I like pretzels, so I totally like those.
Yes,
You
they
and I
are
will
awesome.
team up and we'll talk about if we like it first before sharing our opinion.
Yeah, we'll go critique it for you, Chris, and let you know.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
All right. Well, everyone I've met, hey, let me try a couple of those.
Oh no,
They've been very happy so far.
that's awesome.
I'm on to try anything new at least once.
Right.
Me too. I agree.
Items.
So let me ask you this: if you could share the stage with any musician from any era of history, any genre, any musician whatsoever, who would you want to share stage with?
Prince.
She didn't miss a lick on that one.
Mm.
Prince.
Well, Peter Sermon would probably come and play for you. If that would be close. Was one of the guitarists for Prince, and he's in the guild.
Oh my gosh, I would be so starstruck. I'd be like, tell me everything.
Even JD says Prince, but JD is
Such
from
a down to nerd.
I want to say Red Wing, but I know that's not right. Hastings, Minnesota is where he's from.
Oh my gosh, we go through Hastings all the time. Just so everyone knows, we go to that McDonald's for breakfast. To breakfast.
Hell yeah.
And then we continue on.
And it's funny because I have two kids.
Donald saw that.
Fun fact up there, that's the one we go.
My son lives in Red Wing, Minnesota, or Hastings, somewhere around there, and my daughter's mother is from Rochester.
We have family in Rochester area too. My aunt used to work at the Mayo, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Your
Fun
aunt
fact.
What did she do in the mill?
At the Mayo, she was a transcriptionist for medical records.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And apparently
I think that was it. She may have done some other jobs here too.
That's like their number one employer up there. I think
Okay.
half the people in Rochester work for the Mayo Clinic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Mayo is huge too.
Yeah, my daughter, my ex's mother, she worked for the Department of Human Services, but her office was somewhere inside the Mayo Clinic. We had to go in there to get to her office.
Oh wow. So I've never been to the Mayo. It's super big.
It's huge.
Really?
I'm trying to compare it to the Mall of America. Maybe like a third of the size of the Mall of America.
You really like the Mall of America.
I love the Mall of America.
I mean, Camp Snoopy was great, but that's gone.
Yeah, well, I haven't been there in years.
Camp Snoopy.
Camp Snoopy was legit. It's gone now.
That sucks.
It didn't survive.
I don't.
Well,
I don't.
that's
I don't think I
sad.
like the Mall of America anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's there's still a theme park, but from what I've heard now, and I'm sure I'll get a text message if I'm phrasing this wrong, but Camp Snoopy is no longer Camp Snoopy.
Oh, it's been retitled, but it's still a theme park of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Ah, okay. Okay, well, that's not so bad, but I mean, that was so cute. I always wanted to go to Camp Snoopy. I guess I lost out.
I had a Camp Snoopy birthday party
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
I was a wee little one.
I would have done that too if I lived in there.
Heck
That
yeah.
would be fast. We have like theme parks here that you could do. We have like one that's like an indoor water park that's called Wolf Lodge. It's pretty cool.
Ooh.
And they have like Wild Waves Park that's like a water slide park with a amusement park attached with little rides that they've had here for a long time too.
That's cool. Well, I have a friend that would like to say hello.
Oh, what's up,
Oh.
Pops?
This is Gemstone.
What's up,
She tried to
Gemstone?
bark. That's when you saw the click.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's coming to bother me now.
Oh, that's cute. My dogs are.
What are we doing here?
Background making the barking noise. They like to do that.
Yeah. So I have a buddy now in the interview.
All right. Well,
Cat.
I'm sure you saw the kitty pop through earlier.
Oh my gosh, I did. What's his or her name?
Her name is Baby Raven.
I was gonna say, it had to be Raven because Baby Raven Kitty loves to be Chris's co-host, other than
Oh,
myself.
Oh, right
I
now.
love that. I love that. Oh, hi, Baby Raven. Oh. Did you know The Raven was my favorite poem? Or is. Actually
Really?
Still is, yeah.
Hell yeah.
My favorite metal artist, Raven Black. You probably heard me talk about Raven Black. She's my favorite metal artist.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Hell yeah. And actually, well, that's kind of how I got her name I got that cat shortly after I met Raven and Muppet for the first time. And then someone handed me an all black cat, and I'm like, oh, you're my baby Raven.
Oh, how sweet.
Shit, somewhere around here, I have the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I love that shit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So other than the dog, do you have any other animals?
I do not, just little Gemstone.
I at one time had a little miniature farm going, but they're kind of not really, but sort of. I had like chickens, rabbits, turtles,
Oh, that's cool.
fish.
I would love to have chickens for sure. Like when I buy a house.
Yeah, they're easy. I'll give you. They're super easy.
And I've actually seen ideas on Pinterest for a chicken coop that looks like a KFC.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
Well, up
one
in
of my
Illinois,
friends-
I had chickens, and I had a chicken named Barbecue, Drumstick, and Nuggets.
That's terrible. I love it though. That's like so terrible, but so funny.
Well, my chicken, I had at one time I had like 15 chickens. I'm down to like one now, and it's like about 6 years old, and it was hand raised, and its name's Pepper. I didn't know what color it was. It started out as a yellow chicken, and my baby goes, "Oh, you need to call it Pepper." And I'm like, "Okay, it's Pepper then."
There you go. Right. You shall now be named Peppa.
Heath has a black husky German Shepherd. Her name is Kara Zor-El after Supergirl. Hell yeah.
Oh, cute.
Oh, and then also we got 3 other cats. And then the dog is Karma. Because Karma's a bitch.
Ha ha ha. That's good. That's good.
Funny.
Love it. Love the play on words.
And it works out perfectly. That dog likes to wake me up at 2:30 every morning just for no reason, wants to bark at nothing.
Well, because it knows you're talking about him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'll
I heard
pay you
you
back.
said about me.
I was barking because there was a spider next to your pillow. Bullshit.
That'd be terrifying.
So I'm probably gonna get the same answer, but if you could sit down for dinner and pick anyone's brain through history, who would you want to talk to?
Celine Dion. Her drive for her music is inspiring. The fact that she learned English in, I think it was 6 months to a year, to
Mm-hmm.
then come and record a song out of, I believe it was Nevada. Again, now I'm really going back to some history. That's inspiring to know that when something is a challenge, that if you actually work at it, it can pay off. And of course, I would want to know more about how she overcame certain challenges and obstacles in her career and just how everything was. So I'd
Right.
want to sit with Celine Dion.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, and I thought I was gonna get Prince again, but that's a good one.
Yeah. I feel like coming from Minnesota, you know a lot of Prince's history and his story, which of course, what you show out in the media is way different than your true life. But Prince was
Mm-hmm.
such a big advocate of Minneapolis, and he was so open into bringing underground music out of First Avenue and downtown.
Right.
So I feel like you're. Go ahead.
And from what I heard, he walked around and people just treated him like he was a local.
Yeah. Yep. So
Same with Alice Cooper out in Phoenix.
yeah, Nashville's the same thing. I mean, if you see someone that's famous, they're living their life. So, that's a huge thing. So I think with Prince, I feel like I know a lot more about him just because I'm from that area. Where Dion, I don't know a lot about her because I'm not from Canada and I don't live in Nevada. So I would want to know her story, especially coming from a woman's perspective as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, sometimes it's hard to meet your idols.
Yeah.
Anymore, it's a little bit easier. I remember years and years and years ago, the first time I got to meet a celebrity that was an idol. I was out in California and I literally bumped into Jim Carrey on the street. And
Oh, wow.
I freaked out. Oh my God, Jim Carrey. Oh, let me tell you something. And he reached around, put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Hey, man, I'm just a person just like you." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're fucking Jim Carrey." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just a person." I'm like, "Yep." And he was the coolest person. He took a minute to chat with me and he's like, "Dude, just remember, we're normal people too. Just act cool, act like we're normal." I'm like, "Okay, but you're not normal."
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? Especially with how much social media is such a part of our lives. Like everything is portrayed out, and the story that you portray in your business can be a lot different than your personal life. So I try really, really hard that there isn't a separation. What you meet right now in this interview is the exact same person that you would meet if we weren't in this setting. The only difference is, would I have a beer? Maybe. Where after work times? Maybe. Or would I be grilling? Or I'd be making dinner? Like, it's just certain things. There's those different atmospheres, right? That it's a little different because of maybe having a cocktail, or you're in the middle of cooking dinner, or you're at a grocery store. But besides that, everything else, if you get me engaged in a conversation, you're getting the exact same person that you're talking to right now.
Right. Hey,
That's great. That's I am too.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
What you hear on air, that's I don't get too personal on air and stuff, but what you hear and what you see. Yes, I really am smoking. Yes, I really am chronic Chris. I don't drink, but I like to smoke. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, remember, folks, in 2 weeks when we have Gabrielle on here, I ain't gonna be smoking. Nope, not with the kids around.
Please don't.
No, not with the kids around.
But yeah, and sometimes you're gonna see me with a lemonade or like sweating profusely because it's 108 degrees feeling outside, right? But it's still the
Well,
same.
let me sun tea. I bet you could make the best sun tea having that kind of heat with the sun going. I love
Yes.
sun tea.
Mm-hmm. So
Hey,
that's
Get
like
that.
a huge thing too.
Yeah.
Having.
hey, Southerners are known for their sweet tea, and the further south you go, the better it is.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And I will say, like, it's really funny because I know I've been making some cracks at some beers because I think it's funny. But when it gets super hot, like that's my go-to is tea, lemonade, and it has to be almost freezing water. Otherwise, I don't want anything. I don't want a soda. I don't want milk. I don't want a beer. I don't want wine. I don't want anything else. It's those certain things. And I don't know what it is about lemonade, tea, and frozen water. But that's the only thing that actually helps me get cooled down is those three drinks. Oh, and fruit punch. Kool-Aid.
Bomb. I'm kind of have a weakness for fruit punch and lemonade too. Myself, I love lemons. I'll eat them just plain.
Have
with
you ever
salt.
made true real lemonade from squeezing it, not a package? Oh my gosh, that's the best.
Oh,
With the chunks of ice in it and the slices of lemon.
nice slushy time.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about making it into a slushy.
Now,
Can you tell I'm getting thirsty?
a trick for your summer festivities: take your freeze pops, cut the top off, pour about a shot of rum in each one, and reseal them with an iron.
Maybe I'll try it.
Or some whiskey or vodka or whatever your alcohol of choice is.
Yeah, so I'm actually really not a big drinker. And my go-to is Bud Light, to be honest. So there's something about the taste of Bud Light that I like, but otherwise, it's lemonade, tea, and frozen water.
To be a big Bud Light fan. I don't really drink. I'm not a big drinker either. But when I used to drink, I'd either drink Coronas or Bud Light. I used to love red beers. I used to play in pool dart leagues a lot when they used.
Oh, okay.
Dart leagues used to be really big here in Washington State. We have a company by the name of Medalist that originated here. Most of that's gone now because of the pandemic, but there are still some bars doing in-house things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, where the company itself stands at this time with the pandemic, but hopefully they'll be able to. Everything's opening wide back up finally here in Washington State.
Oh, wow.
This is like the strictest state out of all of them for any of the mandates.
I was just gonna say, if you guys are just opening up, that's crazy. I mean, we opened up
Crazy.
Nashville's been open
a year ago. We've been open for a year.
See, I'm not a big drinker, but if I do, I like to drink whiskey with a little bit of Pedialyte.
Together or separate?
Separate.
Okay, I was like, that's a weird combination.
Well, I'll drink the whiskey, and then I'll drink the Pedialyte to hydrate and prevent the hangover.
Yeah, that's a smart way of doing it. Yeah, again, like I said, I think Bud Light is my go-to, and that's that. I mean, I can have a margarita or a glass of wine, but nah.
One of my first events I did here in Washington State was called Rockin, and I got Budweiser for the sponsor, and I still have this great big massive vinyl freaking banner that they gave me that says Budweiser across it. I love the thing.
That's awesome.
Gomez would like to sit down and chat with Jimi Hendrix. I would too, only because he had Lemmy as a roadie, and you guys know how I feel about Lemmy. I wish I could have met that man.
Jimi Hendrix is a killer too. Like just his licks.
Jimi Hendrix was an innovator.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have guitar playing as it is today if there was no Jimi Hendrix or I want to say Keith Moon.
Okay.
And Tony Iommi. Between those three, I mean, you wouldn't have metal music today with all the distortion and all the effects and just the innovation and the down tuning and the experimentation they did.
Yeah.
Yes, Heath likes Fireball and chases it with strawberry Nesquik.
Mixed
Yeah.
in milk or
No,
mixed in
he
the
drinks the
drink?
Fireball and then chases it with the strawberry milk.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Very interesting.
At 6:30 in the morning, you're shot, Heath.
Oh my goodness.
That's a little early for me, boy. That's a definitely wake you up right away type.
Yeah.
That's my
Fireball.
gotta get up and go to work cocktail.
Oh
Because
my
because
goodness.
if that don't light a fire under your ass, nothing will.
Love it. All right. Well, since we're picking on Keith, ask a question.
Yeah, Heath,
There
ask a question. Here.
Put him on. Are you putting him on camera?
Oh my gosh, we can put people on camera. Sweet.
Yeah, he could add people in, invite them in.
Ooh. Let's play Wheel of Names.
All right, we can do that. Let's see who all is out there. Heath.
With the audience in to be on air.
Like everyone's gone now.
No,
Like,
we still got a few people in there. Oh, Gomez and Morticia are both in there. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Kaylee's in there. Not my Kaylee, I don't think. Olivia danking around. Heath, and I don't know where JD went.
JD heard of the game we're playing and said, I gotta go.
Yeah, right.
All right, Rebecca, you pick. Who do you want to pull in?
Oh, I was gonna just pull in Heath.
Oh.
Oh, Heath usually is always happy to jump in on there. Doesn't Heath want to jump on? We should pick on Heath.
Yeah.
Love this.
Heath is quite the character. He kind of reminds me of Ernest.
Okay.
You know, all those shows that have Ernest.
Yeah.
Yes, Jim Varney.
His personality kind of reminds me of that.
Oh,
Sometimes
that's awesome. I can't wait.
here in Washington State, that's like that too. We actually have you were
Hey.
talking to Hendrix earlier. We have a tribute band by the name of that is Jimi Hendrix tribute band, and Randy Hanson's almost as good as Jimi Hendrix was.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's pretty dang. We got some good guitarists up here that can do that really well.
You gotta send me some videos. I gotta see it.
And another artist by the name of Lori Lovestein are actually making some original music. Then they're going to come on Asgard and share that with us as soon as they're done.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Very excited to come up with.
And I'm trying to get Tyler to open up a little bit more. Where I work at down here, my first day at work, they showed me a little area where there's about 4 or 5 guitars at any given time. And there's a bunch of the guys that like to get together sometimes and just jam out in one of the back areas of the shop. Well, they all know I do radio and stuff. And the one kid, Tyler, he came over on a Sunday. And this kid is amazing. The day he came over, I was like, all right, I got to learn something cool real quick. And intro to Slayer South of Heaven, just the quick. I'm like, okay. Played the tabs for like 20 minutes. He showed up, and I'm like, well, this is what I'm practicing. And did it one time around. He's like, oh, you're trying to do. I'm like, oh, so you knew that already. He's like, you just showed me that. I'm like, I didn't show you shit, dude. We were sitting here doing one of my radio shows. Every single song that I played, about halfway through, he can play along. He plays by ear.
Plays by ear, yeah.
I'm just like, wow, dude.
So talented. So talented.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Trying to get him on with me a little bit more, and I asked him, how come you're not like in the business? He's like, well, Sony gave me a contract, and I looked at it and handed it back to them. I didn't like it, and he just don't like dealing with those people.
Right. Hook up with some songwriters.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You put him with the agents and producers, and then he just has to worry about making music, and then we'll worry about behind the scenes and dates.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So how did COVID affect you?
So for my day job, it really didn't, right? So I work for a healthcare company. So at the time, I was in a different role than I'm in now. So I was actually a manager of people at that point. So we had to get everyone working from home in a very quick amount of time. And then from that, we did the transition of this is how working at home is for any and everyone. Um, and I also was the manager of people in a call center too. So we had to get their phone lines up and going through virtual VPN. So that was significantly harder. And then through that course of time, I actually promoted out. So now I'm a project manager at the same company. And that's a full-time work at home job. So I love it. I think it's great Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. And then after that, I have my nights and weekends to do everything with music. So it was difficult not doing music at night with everyone in the same room. However, we got a lot done because we did, connect together, especially, Michelle, myself, Eddie, and then we do have, other people that we do Zooms and Skypes with as well.
Right on.
So we're just getting used to the different norms, but we didn't have anything that we necessarily relied on that would hinder it from still progressing just in a different manner.
Okay.
So a lot of writing, a lot of this, over the internet type stuff, not going in and doing interviews, but doing it online.
Right. Yeah, I know that's one thing sucks, I'm a person that hates technology. But then COVID hit, and I'm like, well, I still need to broadcast and do my thing. And I worked at a venue up in Illinois for 2.5 years, and I've known a lot of people up in that area for a long ass time before I even worked at the venue. So I moved down to Kentucky, and I kind of missed it. And then they came at me with the opportunity to work for Asgard, and I'm like, hell yeah. Well, shit. Now I guess I got to rely on technology to do this, but it's awesome, and I've loved every minute of it so far.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's hard to learn something new, and especially a different way of living, right?
Right.
So for all of us, we were living in a world that it wasn't this, where we would have been, meeting in the same room and hugging each other versus now we're not. But the good thing is 3 different states all right now, which is insane as well, not including everyone in the chat.
All right. Well, and the way I see it, I'm a Super Mario's Duck Hunt kind of guy trying to figure out World of Warcraft here.
Okay. My nephew tried to teach me World of Warcraft, and that gave me a headache really quickly, and I gave the controller to my brother.
Yep. I noped out of that in about less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Don't do the joystick thing because it makes you spin around really, really quick.
That's in 70 other countries besides the United States.
Wow.
Asgard is. Right, Chris? Is that correct? I believe that's correct.
Yes. We have listeners in 70 different countries. And I think he said last time he checked we were at like 1.7 million listeners so far this year.
Yeah. And look at that difference of what if we would have stayed in a traditional just FM type of world, right? So it's really great. I mean, I know it's not a great thing that we went through it. It was super hard, especially I think on everyone's mental state. Going through COVID was not fun.
Right.
But I think we are getting into a way that we can connect with people, even if we can't do it in person. And a lot of independent artists are really thriving from it.
Right.
A lot of my artists did.
Because there's a lot of other bands and a lot of other broadcasters and promoters all on Twitch.
Yeah.
So,
Rebecca, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying a lot of the artists during the pandemic, they actually did really well with. That's why they now have brand new albums, because it slowed them all down from actually doing shows. It slowed somebody like myself down. It was great when all the artists slowed down a little bit from a producer's agent perspective and a venue perspective. The venue's got a better reality break of how important the artists really are, because they did curbside service here for a while and they didn't get the
Yeah.
sales because people literally like that socialization of interaction of the entertainment. And then that's
Yeah.
what brings the people out. And so they're
Yeah.
doing a little better now, being more appreciatory towards the artists. As it gets more and more toward the end pandemic and back to being normal, they're getting back to where they were prior to the pandemic. But when they first opened up, they're like, do you have any artists that will play at our venue at this capacity? I said, well, yeah, they're dying to be on stage. They want to be out with the people.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much energy that comes that way too, from the audience to and from the artist to the audience, right? That energy is a very non-verbal communicative thing that needs to happen. You know, you feel supported, you don't feel supported, or you know what's going well, you know what's not going well. What do you need to rework before going into a studio? And not having that, or just doing it with, you know, a couple friends, it was definitely more difficult, I think, for a lot of artists, especially, you know, missing that interactive piece.
A lot of them lost not only their money from the shows, from their ticket sales, but their merch sales went really
Yeah.
far down, because that's, you know, people always, they'll buy stuff from your band pages, sure, no problem, but it's always literally so much increased on the percentage of sales. You might, you know, on online one day you might only sell one of the shirt, but as soon as you're at that show that same exact night on that same day, now you've just sold 30 of that same shirt.
Yep. Yep. And it's
Because
all from that interaction. I felt that song more because you are right in front of me performing it, and there's just that exchange. Or maybe that person touched your hand while they were singing and you felt really in that network with that singer. And yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I've always had a policy: when you buy merch from a band, you're putting gas money in their vehicle
Yep.
and something to eat in their stomach. That's how they really make their money, is by selling
Yep.
merch.
Yep. It
So,
really, really is.
I mean, I'll always buy a T-shirt, buy a CD, buy something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Even if it's a pick, something's going to someone, which is huge.
And I'll even
Mhm.
say too, because there's been shows where I've been able to use that just to walk into the show and start talking to bands.
Yeah.
That night, I'm definitely buying 2 shirts from every band, or a shirt and a CD from every band.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing. A lot of people that are just listeners don't realize how the money making process happens for an artist.
Right. Well, because
You know,
if you buy a ticket to the show, the artists really don't make jack shit off that. The venue's got to get a cut. The promoters got to get a cut. The openers have all got
liquor
to get their cuts.
license. Yeah.
So I mean, there's, by the time it dribbles down to the headlining band, unless your name is Dave Mustaine or Ozzy Osbourne, I mean, you're kind of making jack shit.
Yeah, it's you know, again, getting into it, the walls, Rebecca, that we were talking about before, where we've hit so much and we got to really focus on the youth. I mean, those are some of the things that as a young individual, you know, male or female, they or them, it doesn't matter. As someone transpiring into wanting to be an artist, you are stepping into what you think is the reality until you are in the reality of trying to make it happen. And then it's confusing. What do you mean I'm not going to have the brand new car in the mansion and I'm in every major stadium? What do you mean I can't come to Nashville and just sing on the corner and all of a sudden I'm signed? There's a lot of things and a lot of steps that have to happen.
Actually, if you're on the right corner, you can make more money in a day than a musician actually makes.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that type of work.
Well, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, because if I'm walking
Oh,
down
my
the
mind
street,
went the wrong way. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I don't mind. It lets me know where your mind is.
You said the corner.
But if I see someone on the corner holding a sign begging for money, or someone on the corner playing an instrument or doing something, I'm sorry, my money's going to the guy playing an instrument.
Yeah. Still, again, what the reality is, though. How much money does that street player actually make versus what we think they're making, right? So
Right,
Mhm.
it's that story, right? And it's the you hit the wall. You can't just get off the bus at Nashville and all of a sudden you're signed to a label.
right,
Because sometimes a lot of people here are going to tell you too, how long have you been in Nashville? Okay, come back in 5 years. Come back in a couple years. It's about
hey,
the grind
one of
too.
one of the greatest songwriters. His name is Chris Christopherson. And this is my opinion that he's one of the greatest songwriters in country music history.
Okay.
Uh, he was actually a janitor. I believe was it Sun Records? He was a janitor for some recording studio for years before Johnny Cash said, "Hey, want to play a song?"
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it never happens overnight for anybody.
No, and it's what you're putting into it, right? Um, some people apprentice for years to figure out the right technique. Some people have the natural ability, and that's great too.
Right,
Um, but again, it's how many walls do you want to hit before the dream kind of loses its dream world too?
right. Well, and there's some people that all throughout the pandemic, like Framing the Red, there's a lot of reasons I like this band. The first time I ever met these guys, we sat around and bullshitted till 2 o'clock in the morning talking about Robert Johnson and Muddy
Yeah.
Waters and all the old Mississippi Delta blues. And all through the pandemic, they kept releasing music and they actually went out and performed shows every single weekend, never stopped.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I know in my neighborhood, we used to have, I think it was Fridays or Saturdays during the pandemic, where artists would just come and all meet at certain streets and play out for the neighbors just so that they could, yeah, just so that they could keep it going. And a girl named EJ Carey up in Boston, Massachusetts, they do a porch festival every year in like
Well,
her area where all the musicians just come out and sing on their porch. And I'm like, that is so cool.
See,
What a great little way to give back to A, the community that you live in, and B, to try something new too. I don't know. It was very interesting. I loved it.
Now, me and Heath, he commented it a minute ago. It says he didn't know anything about the music world till 3 years ago, and this is the best life I could ever ask for with all the people he's met. There's no words that can express the feelings. Between me and Rebecca and hanging out, it's been awesome. So we're glad to have you, Heath. And I actually talk to him pretty much on a daily basis. He's up in
I
Maine.
got me too. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. He cracks me up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's the biggest thing is once you find your support group, hold on tight.
Right. Well,
When you have support supporting each other, like it just makes
right.
its way.
Well, and I
That's
done told my listeners, you guys know how to reach me. I'm on Facebook. You can find me anytime. You hit me up on Messenger. I'll respond. Sometimes it might take a minute because what I do for a living during the day, I ain't trying to be on my phone. I'm sorry. That's a life and death situation there, and I
Yeah.
ain't trying to die. Uh, but I'll check my messages and I'll always talk to people. I've actually had people that if you call me while I'm at work, I'll answer, put you on a video, set the phone down and talk. But you got to make it quick, and I can't really be bullshitting too much. Uh,
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Heath were talking. That's where I was going, and I had an idea to have a couple of bands come up and set up my back porch as an area for the bands to set up and just have people sitting in my yard, hanging out, whatever, drinking, having a good time, playing some music. Cause I'm sorry, other than going to all the way to Clarksville or all the way to Nashville or all the way to Evansville, Louisville, there's not much in the way of live music that I'm interested in around here.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. You got to make what makes you interested in it, and if you're not in an area that has it.
Right.
That's
Well,
awesome that you're doing it.
and I've talked to a couple of the venues around here, and the one venue says, "Well, we don't like to work with people we really don't know," and I'm like, "Well, how do you find new people to work with then?"
Mm,
Hmm.
mm. Well, there's your answer.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I even said, I'm from Chicago. I have a lot of contacts and with a lot of Chicago bands.
Yeah.
So, and they just, I don't know, weren't interested down here.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
Maybe one day.
That's okay. I got a long term plan. Because I've done said Asgard and doing this. This is actually, I'm going to do this till the day I die. This is my retirement, and someday I'm going to own my own house with a studio, with an outdoor area for bands to play.
There you go.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I actually heard the coolest thing ever. And I'm really glad that we got to know this music store, basically, up in Boston. Well, actually, Westport, Double Bar, the one that Gabby goes to. They actually was starting to bring their students out to play once they would go through their type of lessons. They would go out and perform what they're learning, which I thought that was really cool. I never had that. My vocal teacher who's also actually up in the Boston area, she does the same thing at her studio too, Deb Perry, where she supports her students that are going out, playing out. She has students all around the nation. And I go, where was this back when I was a kid? Because that would have, I don't know, maybe got me over a little bit of stage fright. But also just the support from the music schools that were not your middle high school type of area, right? I went to a small music school or not school, it was a store that also had teachers there, and I learned to play a couple things, but there was nothing else after that. So what was I doing it for? To then go and have to learn to put a band together and do other things. It's just, I think we're starting now as educators and as older musicians to realize, like, again, hitting that wall has not been so fun, and how do we make it a little bit smoother, and what's going to produce from that? Maybe it's going to produce a lot better, and maybe it's not, because they didn't hit the wall.
Well, and anymore it's it's really hard to find what works with so many different things going on in so many different genres of the music industry.
Too.
And I'm sorry if I turn on the radio, I'm not turning on a top 40 station. I want to find a station that's playing something obscure.
Yeah. Well, and how many new genres are there, right? I swear I'm hearing a brand new something, which is really great. I love the creativeness that's going on right now in the world of going kind of back to like old contemporary theory type of music, right? Where you put things into the piano to make the piano sound different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that that's happening now. It's just great. I think there's a lot out there. I can't even tell you what my favorite genre is, so please don't ask. Because I have probably a song in every genre that's out there right now.
Well,
please don't ask that either, because I can't name them off the top of my head right now.
see, and that's why I like to say my favorite genre is rock and metal, just because there's so many subgenres in rock and so many subgenres in a metal. And there was this guy on YouTube, and I'll say he had a little bit too much time on his hand, because I believe he broke it down into like 171 subgenres.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, you got a little bit too much time on your hand, buddy. But that's okay.
Yeah. And that's the good stuff, right? I would love to say I'm the singer-songwriter genre, but then that covers everything. So
right.
There's now, that's the new thing that's cool to be right now is a singer-songwriter.
Right. Well, see, now, also, I mean, granted, I prefer rock and metal, but if you look at my card, and that's why I have to be careful when I do Asgard and not let it go off by itself, because I got some Conway Twitty, some Ernest Tubbs, some old Hank.
Yeah.
I got Muddy Waters, Cab Calloway, all the old Motown. I got Michael Jackson. I got Prince. One of my favorite songs of all time is a Prince song.
Little Red Corvette.
Very close. That's my second favorite song. For some reason, I just Raspberry Beret.
Oh, there we go.
Can't you run from a secondhand store? I don't know why.
He was a genius. I mean, it was so peppy but smooth and.
Yes, and he could play every single instrument.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people say, you know, back in the day when he came out with Purple Rain, it was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But it was awesome and it worked and everyone loved it and it was a hit.
Yeah. Well, and it was, again, so different.
I think that's mainly what it was. Just the fact that he was different. I mean, look at Paisley Park. It was purple. A big purple complex in the middle of Minnesota.
I love it.
I did too. I loved all the purple too. I thought that was pretty neat.
Paisley Park have you ever been to it, Rebecca?
No, I haven't.
That's one thing you have to
that
do.
my little bucket list of places I'd like to go venture someday.
Oh, it's amazing. Ugh. When I was actually going on that tour was when my dad called me and said, I think I found you a car. And I was just about to turn 16. And it was a Ford Probe. And it looked sporty and everything. So I was like, yes. And it was dark burgundy with the pop-up eyes. But I found that out when I was heading to Paisley Park for a tour.
Nice.
With my best friend and her sister was driving.
See, we
cool.
We didn't get to do the tour and stuff, but we drove past it, and I was just, wow, that's fucking awesome.
Oh, it's phenomenal. You got to go back and do the tour. You got to go back.
Well, one of these days.
Yep, here in Washington State, you were talking about the youngsters. We have School of Rock here. So they do all sorts of performances with the kids that are like fundraisers to help fund them to tour across the other School of Rocks or do little performances.
Awesome.
And the venues here in Washington State, they set them up like little shows. And then, like I said, I have actually a red backpack from the last performance they did. That's from the Linwood School of Rock. But they have like 3 or 4 of them here in Washington State that are just like the frickin' show. If you've ever seen them, you know, with Jack Black, School of Rock. Yeah, so crazy.
I was actually going to say, did you guys try to invite Jack Black to come teach a class?
That would be awesome.
That would be
awesome. Fun. I know Martin Thomas Reed has one of the students in his MTR band. MTR project has Brody in it. I think he's like 13. Very good little guitarist. He plays in that band with Martin.
Awesome. Okay. That's awesome.
Martin is kind of like a Soundgarden feel. He's an original artist. He's in the Bands for Bands Guild too. He pops in once in a while as well.
Awesome. I love it.
He also makes really neat jewelry. I love his jewelry. He's made me like 3 necklaces that are really neat. He finds the rock and then he sells them. You can only get them at his show. He's got to go wrap up and resell it and make some new ones, he said, because he has sold all the other ones he had. Some of them are pretty pricey, but you figure, you know, the time and effort, and that's another interesting, unique piece of merch that he handmade.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And just the value of that made from the band, right? Like, that's crazy.
From the guy, he actually like spent hours and hours on these freaking, like I said, I have 3 different necklaces that he had made. One's Lambert Knight, one's I think Lamernite, and then I forget the other two. One's I think in like a the Aquarius stone, one of those,
Okay.
and yeah, those are really one's purple, and one's white, and one's like just like
Oh,
really
that's
interesting.
awesome.
See all the photos, but yeah, I love how multi-talented all you artists are. Like you probably have like multi-talents too. Do you do like paintings or drawings, or do you just write music and play music?
Don't ask me to draw or paint you anything because you'll get a stick figure. I am not good in that direction. So one of my cool talents is I like hear background. So the things that you hear on a lot of our music, so both mine, Michelle's, and Gabby's, and a couple other artists that will be coming out, is the background and the production that you're hearing. We're really hands-on on that, and that's one of my biggest talents, is hearing kind of how things fit in. So it's actually really funny when we're in writing sessions, I'll start singing some of the background of what it needs to be, and like, oh, a hard hit needs to be here with the drums, and the guitar's got to do it, and I'm just like that. I hear that part really
Right.
well. So I guess that would be my other creative talent, is I can hear backgrounds.
He
I
That
don't
he
hear.
says he can walk and chew gum at the same time.
I can do that too.
I feel
Sometimes.
you, Heath. No, I understand what you're saying, because when I'm listening to music, when I'm listening to a song, there's a reason I listen to a song 3, 4, 5 times in a row. I'm listening to the vocals. I'm listening to the guitar. I'm listening to the bass. I'm listening to the
Yeah.
drums. I'm listening to the keyboards.
Yeah.
I'm listening to how everything melds together.
Yeah. So the really great thing about Michelle and I as business partners, we are literally yin and yang. So she hears the voice so clearly where I don't. I'll tune it out to listen to the background.
Okay.
So
oh that
she'll hyper focus on the vocal line and be like, "Oh, you gotta go do that again," or "That was not, no." And then I'm super focused on the
The
background,
background, yeah, the band
and
playing.
we yin and yang it, and then it's really cool because where someone's hyper focusing on one thing, the other person doesn't have to. So once your brain kind of turns to mush and your ears are bleeding, what we call it, where you can't hear it straight anymore, then that's the "Hey Sarah" or "Hey Michelle, how do you like this? How does this sound?" And we can put in our opinions, or something's funky here. And then it's okay, well, let's take a break from it, dry the ears out from the blood, and then, go back into it. So that's a really cool thing of having that like yin and yang type of thing where we
sound
can
like radio.
divide and conquer. I'm sorry, Rebecca.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had somebody come into the home. I had to tell them I was still on air on TV. Almost done.
Oh no, you're good. Hey.
Meredith says hi. Sir, whoops.
So, so being in the industry and whatnot, this is my favorite question I ask people.
Okay.
What is the one thing that absolutely shocked you? The weirdest, wildest thing? The thing that made you turn your head and say, dude, did that really just fucking happen?
Okay, so it's probably not as big as what you think.
I've heard some
It was
weird
actually
ones.
an engineer up in Westport, Massachusetts, told us this. Gabby was smacking pretty good on the mic. And he's like, "Oh, do you guys have an apple?" And we're like, "What? Why would we have an apple?" Like this, it was a little bizarre. And he goes, "Oh, well, if you chew an apple before you go into a vocal booth, you won't have the smack because of something chemically in the apple, and when you eat it for your saliva, it won't have you smack." So
I
me,
didn't know.
Michelle, Nell, her mom, we all were like, "What?" And we're like, "Well, let's go try it." So like we sent her mom to the store to get an apple. As we're setting everything up, we're like, "What?" Like, I guess let's try it. And then all of a sudden we're like, "Gabby, eat the apple." And she's like, "What? I don't want an apple." And we're like, "No, eat it." And she ate the apple, and all of a sudden her vocal recordings were clean. No smack, no nothing. So now every time Michelle and I will, hands down, always remember to have an apple with us anytime we go into studio.
That's
I,
awesome. That's a nice little tip.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you guys
never
got
heard
one
that
free tip
before.
on me. No, but yeah,
Right.
it was the craziest thing. And then when we were back in our studio in Nashville, I said something to Michelle, or maybe she said it to me. But basically, we asked for the apple,